So Modern Woodmen is a not-for-profit fraternal benefit society. It's been around since about, over 136 years. And so, but we've had an office in San Antonio since about 1901. The things that we specialize is in specifically helping individuals, families, and business owners make really good decisions for themselves with somebody that's kind of on their side, right? As a not-for-profit, the concept is this of, at least I know our company, or our organization is, how do we leave the person that we're sitting in front of better off than we met them? Even if it doesn't mean an immediate professional business relationship, just means how do I leave them better off? Modern Woodmen is a member-owned. Think of it very similar to like a credit union, but for the other parts of your life. So financial planning, retirement, investments, things of that nature. Been around since 1883. And here's my contact information. Don't worry about it. It's going to come back again at the end. So don't take any photos if you don't need to. We're going to go right to it. So what we're going to cover in this presentation is protecting your most valuable resources, keeping your best employees, and how do we transfer of ownership, right? We might be in the beginning of our professional career, or maybe our business is just starting up, but it's never too early to think about the unexpected. All right, so protecting your most valuable resources, income protection, life's unexpected surprises, right? I think we've all seen unexpected surprises in the last 2 years. I know I have. So if you're like me and you've had coworkers, family members just unable to go back to work because of either COVID or just some other life event, right? Anything can happen. I just recently delivered a death certificate to a 10-year-old in Uvalde. I only just wrote her up less than a year ago. I never thought that was going to happen, right? So we just have to be prepared for the unexpected. Anything can happen. We just have to be ready. So how do you protect your employees' ability to keep earning income even if they can't come in through the door? Well, you can look at a group disability plan for your employees. That's an option. That's a good option. It helps even out the people who have maybe a little bit less healthy habits and with the real healthy habits. So it gives you a nice balanced price. If you're not large enough where you think you're eligible for a group plan, it's okay. Just go ahead and look at an individual plan and figure out how much coverage do I need. Most plans will never cover you more than 60%. They just won't do that, right? Because then there's an incentive for you not to go back, right? Also, if you're an individual business owner, you might really consider not just individual disability or income protection. Think about what it costs to keep that business running. So there's insurance in place so that if something were to happen to you and you're the driver of the business, the expenses that the business had don't stop, right? Make sure that you don't go out of business. Salaries get paid, rents get paid, subscriptions, all that stuff gets taken care of. Moving on. So with group health insurance, the other side of that coin, so your income, the expense of recovering, making sure that if you can't offer group health insurance, we can look at options. Or if you may not want to qualify, or maybe you're not ready to provide that benefit, it's okay. Find somebody who's ACA certified so that they can walk your individual employees to buy the coverage through the Affordable Care Act. I've done this, and I've had other coworkers, and I've had other people in this profession. They'll just go into a small business and sit down during lunch and help people walk through the ACA website so that they can choose their own insurance, right? It doesn't cost you anything, just maybe contacting somebody. For those people that are looking to protect their key employees, meaning there's somebody in your office that makes sure the lights come on every day, meaning they do enough sales, they have enough connections, they're making the business run. And so to make sure that key person is protected, meaning that also the business owner, key man insurance might be a good idea. And that also includes the business owner. You are probably the key man in your business. Now, key man could be key person, right? These are older terms, old life insurance terms, so key person insurance. All right, so you got them in and you're trying to protect them, but you also got to make sure you can keep them, right? This is a tough labor market. If you want to keep your best employees, you got to make sure you have things in place so that they stay around. And most people will stay around if they have some good benefits or something worthwhile to compete with other businesses. Some options include a 401k plan. If you're self-employed, meaning this is your own business, you can also look at just a solo 401k plan. Or maybe if you're looking to put more money than maybe just what a Roth IRA will allow you to do, a Roth 401k. The limits are almost 3 times as high. You can also look at a SEP IRA, which is a simplified employee pension, simple IRA, or For people that are not ready to commit to some sort of contribution for their employees, just help them set up Roth IRAs and tell them you can put it out of your payroll for me. I've had smaller business owners who are not ready to commit to it, but they want to make sure that their employees are doing good for themselves. So we help them set up Roth IRAs, and we'll deduct that out of their payroll, and it'll go directly in. Sometimes the nicer ones add match, sometimes not. And no judgments. Everybody has a different budget, so different stages in your business. For those people who are individual business owners and you have a lot more leeway, maybe you're not so interested because you don't have a lot of W-2 employees or almost all 1099, you can also look at just establishing a profit sharing plan to accompany a 401k plan. That allows you to increase the amount of contribution quite a bit, and I mean quite a bit. So I have a lawyer who's been earning quite a lot of money these last 2 years, but he's going to retire in 8 years. So we set up a 401k, added a profit sharing, and a cash balance plan, which is basically a pension. And so now he's able to allocate about $300,000 a year towards himself because he's going to retire in 8 years. That's happening. So I know I'm running short on time, so what I'll finish up with succession planning. So what is going to happen to your business under the following moments? At retirement, if the disability occurs, or at your death. I know sometimes we're really enthusiastic about the business, and most people should be, but you also have to think, well, what's going to happen if any of these events happen? So more than likely, more than likely, you want to make sure that one of these three results will happen. Either you're going to liquidate the business at a very unfavorable terms. The business will be sold. If you have a buyer in advance, you want to make sure that you have a lot of planning in advance, meaning you have an accurate evaluation of the business, and so that way that equity is transferred over to your next kin who you would like. And finally, well, you could always just try to transfer it to your family, but the reality is only 1/3 of businesses transfer from one generation to the next. So it does require some action on your part. So then thinking about that, then what are my options? What am I going to do? Well, you definitely need to make sure that your business has a continuation plan and definitely want to make sure you have the assistance of an experienced lawyer to help draft the document, so that way the rules and your wishes are followed through. But you can consider a couple options, right? The most common thing I see out there is a buy-sell agreement. So you come in an agreement with either one of the employees that you expect to buy, a business owner, another business owner, or somebody that you trust that is going to take over the business if something were to happen to you. This is actually very common with family members too, because when you're retired from the business, you want to make sure there's a line, meaning ownership and transfer versus just ownership is kind of passed on, but then the previous owner's just hanging around all the time, and no changes happen, no ownership. So that's a quick way to be one of the 2/3 of businesses don't transfer to the next generation. So having clear rules. With a buy-sell agreement, you strictly have some delineation between the new owner and the old owner, and the old owner can live happily knowing that they got the true value of the business. And cross-sell, so if there's partners in the organization, so that way they're each buying ownership shares of the business. And if the entity, you can also set it up so that the business buys the ownership shares of the company if one of the members were to pass away. So there's just tons of options. Just depends on your structure and how you're organized as a business. Okay, and then how do you fund this, right? Well, there's a couple options. You can do a cash flow, meaning money's get directed for the implementation of your business continuation plan. You can set up a sinking fund, right? Or you can set up borrowing the monies in advance, or set up installment payments. But all these options do kind of hinder the growth of the business, right? Because if you have to allocate money at this larger level for it, it's not that great. Finally, the last option, which is the most common way, if the health is there. It's not always there, and sometimes we can't do it. Using pennies of a life insurance policy versus dollars of straight cash transfer.